Okay, let's just jump right in. Have you ever really thought about whether technology could, literally read your mind? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but we're getting way closer than you probably think. So let's dive in and see how this is all happening. All right, so before we get into the wild stuff, like how we can actually read what's going on inside your head, we got to talk about something that can affect the brain from the outside. And that brings us to a topic that's, well, surprisingly controversial: microwaves. So the big question is, can microwaves really mess with your brain? Is there any truth to that? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. It really, and I mean really, all comes down to the type and the power of the waves we're talking about. And this is the absolute key distinction we need to make. We are not talking about the microwave in your kitchen or the cell phone in your pocket. Nope. The everyday, low-level exposure you get from those, that's generally considered safe. What the research is actually focused on is something totally different: high power, pulsed microwaves, the kind of stuff used in like very specific military and lab settings. And yeah, at those super high extreme levels, the effects are absolutely real. We're talking about heating brain tissue, messing with neural activity, and even impacting how you think. The main takeaway here, the big point, is just to establish this one thing: the brain's super delicate electrical system can be influenced from the outside. Keep that in mind. Which, leads us to a way more interesting question, right? If something on the outside can influence the brain, how do we start to listen to what the brain is saying on the inside? How do we tune in to its own internal conversation? Well, to do that, we first have to understand the language it speaks, the language of our neurons. So here's a good way to think about it. Your nervous system is basically a biological internet. Your neurons? They're the messengers. They're constantly firing off these tiny electrical emails, scientists call them action potentials, and sending little chemical texts called neurotransmitters. And your brain? It's the central server, the big hub, that's just interpreting this insane flood of information and figuring out what to do next. Okay, so if all that electrical chatter is happening, how in the world do we eavesdrop on it? The key piece of tech here is called an electroencephalogram, or EEG for short. It's basically this cap you wear that's covered in super sensitive electrodes, and it just listens. It listens to the hum of the brain's engine, all from the outside, totally non-invasive. But, listening is one thing. Actually understanding what you're hearing, that's a whole different ballgame. That hum we're talking about is an incredibly complex symphony of signals. And this is where a powerful new player steps onto the stage: artificial intelligence. So here's the fundamental challenge, right? The raw data you get from an EEG is just a massive storm of electrical noise. It's chaos. Trying to pick out a single specific thought in all of that, it's like trying to hear one person whispering in the middle of a packed, roaring football stadium. Just impossible for a human. And the solution to that impossible problem? It turns out, it's AI. It is literally the only tool powerful enough to sift through that blizzard of data, tune out all the static, and actually lock on to the meaningful signals hidden deep inside. And honestly, the impact AI is having here is, well, it's nothing short of revolutionary. I mean, it can analyze these super complex patterns at a speed no human could ever dream of matching. It's achieving an accuracy that's on par with expert doctors, and, this is huge, it makes this powerful analysis available in remote places that just don't have those specialized neurologists. Okay, and all of this power, this new capability, is taking us somewhere truly incredible. We are moving way beyond just using this to analyze brain activity for, a medical diagnosis. We are stepping into the realm of actually decoding our inner world, our thoughts. Yeah, and there's a quote from the material we're looking at that it sums it up perfectly. It says that AI is being used to analyze EEG data to decode inner speech. And get this, it's essentially creating programs that can read a person's thoughts. Let that sink in. This isn't theoretical anymore. This is happening right now. So what are the key ingredients you need to build a thought decoder? Well, first you need the EEG tech to actually capture the brain signals. Then you need powerful deep learning algorithms to find the patterns in all that noise. And you need huge, massive data sets of brain recordings to train the AI on what inner speech actually looks and sounds like in the brain. You put all that together, and what you get is a brain-computer interface, a BCI, that can translate a thought directly into an action. But hold on, because it doesn't even stop with words. In what is a truly mind-bending development, researchers are now using AI to start reconstructing what you see
directly from your brain activity. Yeah, you heard that right.
So, using tech like fMRI scans, which basically track blood flow and these deep neural networks, these systems can generate rough images of what a person was looking at. Now, look, there are definitely limitations. It's not perfect. It struggles with fine details, but the potential use for this is just incredible. Imagine helping people who've lost the ability to speak or move to communicate just by thinking about what they see. So as we're stepping into this wild new frontier, we really have to look at both sides of the coin. On one hand, you have the incredible promise of what this tech can do. And on the other, you have some really profound, really serious ethical questions that it forces us to ask.
Let's start with the promise, which is, frankly, a potential revolution in medicine. Think about it. AI-powered EEGs that can predict seizures before they even happen, helping doctors make faster, more accurate diagnoses, powering amazing assistive tech that lets people with severe disabilities control prosthetic limbs or communication devices just with their thoughts. That's life-changing stuff.
But then there's the other side. With every amazing promise comes a set of really critical questions we have to start tackling right now. Like, who owns your brain data? Is it you, the company that makes the device? Can we really trust an AI's decision if we can't fully understand how it got there? And maybe the biggest one of all, in a world where thoughts can be decoded, how do we protect the last truly private place we have, our own minds? Look, these are not easy questions, and there are no simple answers. The technology is just developing so much faster than our ability to create rules and ethical frameworks around it. And all of this leaves us with one final, really profound thought to chew on. When our innermost thoughts aren't private anymore, what does that mean for who we are? What do we become?